Trackhouse Racing sweeps the weekend in NASCAR's return to Mexico City with Daniel Suarez winning on Saturday and Shane Van Gisbergen winning on Sunday. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin NASCAR episode 8. I'm your host, Andrew. Wow, what a weekend NASCAR had in Mexico City this weekend. We saw on Saturday Daniel Suarez, the hometown hero from Monterrey, Mexico, take the win in the Xfinity Series. And then on Sunday, Shane Van Gisbergen from Auckland, New Zealand, he is able to take the win in the NASCAR Cup Series, making sure that Trackhouse sweeps the weekend. I'm pretty sure all of us were hoping to see maybe Daniel Suarez be up front more, but overall Trackhouse, it was a really good week for them, and it was a really good race. Lots of side-by-side action. Couldn't ask for much more from that. We got so much more to talk about, including the top 15 finishers and some other notable drivers, but I want to start with, the last, 30 laps, because there wasn't really much besides Shane Van Gisbergen. He pulled out to a 16-second lead on second place Christopher Bell. And the only entertaining thing at that point was Chase Elliott moving his way up through the top 10, which we hadn't seen very much of this year. But Shane Van Gisbergen led most of the laps today. We also saw Ty Gibbs up front for most of the day, but at the end, it was all Shane Van Gisbergen. SVG started on pole. He led most of the race in stage 1. He ran a little bit longer, but with 2 laps to go, he made a pit stop, which allowed Ryan Preece to win stage 1. And then we also saw Shane Van Gisbergen win stage 2. And then he ended up getting that 16-point lead after passing Ty Gibbs late in stage 3. And overall, it was a really smooth race from SVG. And it kind of reminded me of Circuit of the Americas earlier this year. SVG was kind of smooth all day, but that day he didn't have the winning speed, and it was clear later in the race. But in this race, he ran the strategy well. Steven Duran on top of the pit box called an excellent race, and Shane Van Gisbergen was able to drive that car out to a very nice lead at the end. Ross Chastain ended up finishing 16th place in the Cup Series race. Very solid race from Ross Chastain. We know he's a very solid road course racer, and all of really Trackhouse is. So I would say it's a good day for Trackhouse. Again, they haven't had winning speed all year, but I would say that's a good race for Ross Chastain. And then Daniel Suarez, the hometown hero, finishes 19th in the Cup Series race, but on Saturday, he finished first after starting at the rear in a backup car, because Saturday morning, like only a couple hours before the race, he crashed, and it was a lot of damage, but that number 9 Junior Motorsports team was able to get the backup car ready, and then with barely any color on that car except for the white door number and a couple Quaker State logos, there was nothing really about that car that was making you think, oh, Daniel Suarez is going to win. But Daniel Suarez made a rally late in the race and passed Taylor Gray in the 54 and was able to pull off the win in front of his hometown crowd. So congratulations to Daniel Suarez. As for the Cup Series side of things, it looked like he had good speed early in the race. He was running up beside the top 10 for most of stage 1 and stage 2. In stage 3, it looked like he got off cycle a little bit, not on the winning strategy, and that made him fall all the way down to 19th. But still, really good race for Daniel Suarez. But let's look at some of the other top 15 finishers. Christopher Bell finishes P2. Very good race from Christopher Bell, and we haven't seen that race-winning speed out of Bell in these last couple weeks, but this weekend at Mexico City, it looked like he had that speed, and it was really nice to see. Gives me a little more confidence heading into some more road courses like the Chicago Street Race and at Sonoma, so that's very encouraging. Chase Elliott finishes in 3rd place in that number 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. Wait, was Napa on the car this week? I don't know. I'm looking really stupid here. Anyway, Chase Elliott finishes in 3rd place, made a charge late in the race, and again, like I said, he was the most eye-catching thing. He was the one making all the passes, and he got up to P3, ran a very solid race. He was running up inside the top 15 for most of the early portions of this race in stage 1 and stage 2, but in stage 3, he was able to rally and finish P3. And again, this gives me confidence that Chase Elliott can run really well at a track like the Chicago Street Race and at Sonoma. And he's run really well at Sonoma in the past. I remember in 2023, he played some pit strategy and was able to hold the lead for a little while until I think it was Martin Truex Jr. passed him and was able to take the lead. Anyway, Chase Elliott finishes P3. His teammate Alex Bowman finishes P4. Really good finish for Alex Bowman, battling an injured and sore back from that crash at Michigan last weekend. And it was a good race for Alex Bowman. Kind of a quiet day. He never really had the race winning speed, in my opinion, but still a very good result for Alex Bowman. Michael McDowell in the Spire Motorsports 71 finishes in P5. He was running up inside the top 10 most of the day. Really good race for Michael McDowell. John Hunter Nemechek in the 42 car for Legacy Motor Club finishes P40 in P6. I almost said P42. Anyway, John Hunter Nemechek continues to have these random good runs, and his teammate Eric Jones ended up finishing P17. So, I mean, Legacy Motor Club is looking a lot better, and I would say they are a team to watch out for at a track like Daytona in a couple weeks because you never know what could happen at Daytona. So I'm very excited to see that John Hunter Nemechek finished in P6. Chase Briscoe finishes in P7. Started 19th, was able to run up inside the top 10 for a little while. Very good race from Chase Briscoe. Cole Custer for the Haas factory team in the 41 finishes P8. Really good race. Really good second half of the race for Cole Custer, I would say. Kind of just grinded out that finish. Didn't really do anything crazy, but really cool, good finish for Cole Custer. William Byron finishes P9. Kind of a quiet day. Didn't see a lot of that number 9 car, but still a good finish for Willie B. Chris Buescher finishes P10. He and Austin Cindric stayed out after the first caution, which was after lap 1 because of rain, and they were out there on slicks, and they made it work, or Austin Cindric made it work, but Chris Buescher was able to hold his track position, and he ends up finishing P10, and Chris Buescher is a very good road course racer, so I'm very impressed with Chris Buescher finishing in P10. Ty Gibbs finishes in P11. Started fourth, but Ty Gibbs had really good pace the whole day. Ended up getting back mired in traffic and really couldn't go forward after that. Bubba Wallace finishes P12. He actually outran his teammate of Tyler Reddick, who I would say is a better road course racer in overall opinions, in my opinion at least. So good race for Bubba in P12. AJ Allmendinger got caught up in a lap, I think it was lap 9 wreck that involved Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Zane Smith. A big crash, just Kyle Busch not able to control the car and ended up sliding into Allmendinger. Big damage to the 16. He ends up finishing P13. I really thought that AJ Allmendinger could contend for a win and make it into the playoffs, but there's still several other races to come, like the Chicago Street Race and at Sonoma, which I think that AJ Allmendinger has a good chance of winning. Ryan Blaney finishes P14. Not really known for his road course racing prowess, but still a really good finish overall for Ryan Blaney. Ryan Preece finishes in P15. Solid day for RFK overall. Nothing too crazy going on there. A few other drivers I want to mention here. Ryan Truex, the brother of the retired Martin Truex Jr., subbing in for Denny Hamlin in the 11 car, was running really well, running mid-pack most of the day, and Ryan Truex ends up finishing P23 after a couple spins, but overall, really good race from Ryan Truex. I'm wondering if this does open the door to some more possibilities, like in the Xfinity Series with Sam Hunt Racing. I really think Ryan Truex does deserve to be a full-time driver with either Joe Gibbs Racing or with Sam Hunt Racing, but I'm very impressed with Ryan Truex tonight, or last night. Riley Herbst finishes P29, even though he was running up inside the top 10 most of the day, and you don't expect that from Riley Herbst in that 35 car. Let's just say that you don't expect Riley Herbst to be running P7 most of the day, but he ends up running P29 after a spin, and he almost ran into Ricky Stenhouse Jr. just kind of turning himself around, and Ricky slammed on the brakes, swerved to the right, and just barely avoided him. And I was thinking, okay, now that was a low moment, so it kind of bounced out, I would say, but it was really good running from Riley Herbst today. Ty Dillon finishes P33. Ty Dillon was running up inside the top 10, top 15 most of the day, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the broadcast said, Ty Dillon's he's a kind of a frustrating driver. He's not gonna blow you away, but he keeps the car in one piece. And I was just thinking, Dale Jr., what are you talking about? Ty Dillon is a good driver. He's gonna bring the funding. He's gonna bring the car back in one piece. I really don't understand why Dale Jr. called him a frustrating driver. I would say the frustrating driver is Carson Hosvar, who finishes P34, and he got spun out on off of turn 15, and that brought out the last caution of the day, and that kind of screwed over Ty Gibbs. Let's be honest, and Ty Gibbs wasn't very happy about that. And then Kyle Larson finishes P36. He actually was the driver to get the Xfinity Fastest Lap Award, which, for a little side note, is a extra point that goes out to the driver with the fastest lap time of the race, and that's what Kyle Larson had on Sunday. So he gets the extra bonus point, even though he finishes in P36, which that team needed because they were many laps down, and Cliff Daniels came down pit road, and put on more tires so they could get that Xfinity fastest lap and get that extra bonus point put, because we saw last year Kyle Larson missed a race, and that ended up costing him the regular season championship by 1 point to Tyler Reddick. So uh, the five team clearly taking this seriously, and they've been taking it seriously the whole year. So Kyle Larson finishes with the Xfinity series, or the Xfinity fastest lap, excuse me. One more thing I have to mention is the Carson Hosvar and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. confrontation after the race. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was spun by Carson Hosvar in the stadium section, and it ended up costing them both solid finishes. Carson Hosvar had to come down pit road and repair the damage, but Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was not happy with Carson Hosvar, and both of them were racing for a position in the mid 20s, and it's late in the race. Like, what is Carson doing? Like, Carson Hosvar was also racing a lap down. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was on the lead lap trying to make time, and Carson Hosvar just comes in there running a little bit hard and ends up wrecking them both. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr., after the race, walked up to Carson Hosvar's car, took the window net down, and stuck his head in there and started yelling at him. And according to the race or the audio from the onboard, he was like, "I'm gonna whoop your butt," and much other stuff. And I would say that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. does deserve this. It's been 2 times this season that Carson Hosvar has wrecked him. So in the next coming races, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has every single right to wreck Carson Hosvar. Maybe not at Echo Park Speedway this weekend at Atlanta. I'm going to call it Atlanta for people who don't know what Echo Park Speedway is, but it's a little dangerous. It's a super speedway. You never know. And I would say at a road course, though, like the Chicago Street Race, yeah, go ahead by giving them a bump draft on one of the straightaways, give them a little shot into the corner, move them out of the way. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has full permission to do that, and no one will be upset with that. If people are upset about him wrecking Carson Hosvar about after what he's done to Ricky Stenhouse Jr. these last couple weeks, yeah, I don't know where you've been, but yeah. Anyway, that happened this week. We finally thought the Stenhouse and uh the Hosvar debacle was over, but nope, it's back on, and we gotta wait another week to see what happens. We'll wait and see if Hosvar and Stenhouse go online and see anything. So, say I don't know what they're gonna say, but man, just be watching out for that 47 car these next couple weeks around that 77, and Carson Hosvar better be on his toes as well, and hope that Stenhouse doesn't like do anything too bad to him. I did forget to mention that Chase Briscoe, who finished up inside the top 10, was also involved on that lap 7 crash that involved Kyle Busch, Justin Haley, Zane Smith, AJ Allmendinger, Chase Briscoe, and Kyle Larson. And that ended up not affecting Chase Briscoe that much. And like Kyle Larson, his front right axle was completely broken. So, I mean, for both those teams to get back out on track and Kyle Busch be the one that was out is crazy. Justin Haley's back car, like the bumper was still intact, but like the entire body of the rear end of the car was just completely folded up, and like it exposed the bumper. And I was surprised that NASCAR let them race. I thought they were going to have to kind of shove the body back down. But either way, really impressive for Chase Briscoe and AJ Allmendinger again getting involved in those wrecks and yet being able to run it up inside the top 10 and 15 most of the day, or get that finish at least. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Now, it is not fully confirmed that we could see Mexico City back on the schedule next year. NASCAR is very hopeful that this track will return. I'm really hopeful that this track will return. I know it's not necessarily the best track to reach, and by all the travel issues and all the the hauler drivers having to go through customs and the border, and all the safety things going on. Like, yeah, it's maybe not the safest and easiest place to get to, but it's a really cool racetrack. It's got a lot of twists and turns. It kind of reminds me of Road America, except it's in a city area, you know. But either way, I'd really hope to see Mexico City back on the schedule. If not, I would like to see maybe, I don't know, Road America, for all the Wisconsin people back in the on the schedule. Montreal would be a really cool track to go to, but I'm really hoping that the Mexico City track in Mexico City, Autodromos Hermanos Rodriguez, I'd really like to see it back on the schedule because it kind of would replace the Chicago street race, and maybe to replace, I don't know, like add another road course in there, Road America could return. I don't know. I would also like to see Chicagoland back on the track on the schedule because you got to stay in the Illinois market, and it's a really good market to be in. But there you go, some little rumors, and NASCAR is a little bit optimistic about it, but nothing is confirmed yet. And now it's time for I actually have a name for this segment now. It's Andrew's race ratings. I know it's crazy. I know, guys. But what do I want to rate this race? The Viva Mexico, what was it, 250? I think it was a 250-mile race. I don't know. I don't know what to rate this race. The racing was good. The Prime Video coverage was pretty solid. They weren't always on every single crash, but I think it was a good thing that they weren't. And I think that the racing was good. We saw the most deserving winner win, create some interesting storylines for the playoffs, which I'm going to talk about in another episode coming up later this week. But I was very happy with this race, and the track facilities look great. The grandstands look really good. Everyone in Mexico City was really happy to see. I mean, they were going up to Todd Gilliland and like making swarms around. Todd Gilliland had a full security ring around him to protect him. And I no disrespect to Todd Gilliland, but it's Todd Gilliland. He's not like a Chase Elliott or a Daniel Suarez. Whew, I can't imagine the crowd that Daniel Suarez was receiving. Either way, I'm gonna rate this race a 85%. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a pretty high rating. I like the racing. I like the facility. The atmosphere was really good. Um, yeah, the deserving winner won. It was a really good race. It does display a problem about the playoff system that desperately needs to be fixed. And I really do hope, though, that Mexico City is back on the track. So there you go. 85%. Let me know in the comments what you would rate this race. The Viva Mexico 250 at Autodromos Hermanos Rodriguez for all my maybe some Spanish speaking friends out there. I got some friends in Texas that speak Spanish, so I gotta send him this link because it's he used to live in Mexico. But either way, that's gonna do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you enjoyed the race on Sunday. I'll be back later this week with some kind of the implications that this race will make on the playoff grid and what maybe NASCAR has to go forward. Also, power rankings will return in the next episode. But that's it. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.